Hi everyone, my name is Yenny and I'm here with ABA Exam Academy, and today we're gonna do one of my favorite meetings, which is how to pass the BCBA, BCABA, and it has become an official tradition here in ABA Exam Academy where we interview people that have participants that have been constantly with us since the beginning basically. And today we're going to interview two of our best participants, a BCBA and a BCABA and a BCBA, which is Vanessa and Martin.
Hello.
I'm gonna have you guys present yourself in a little bit, but for those of you who are new to us, to ABA Exam Academy, I just wanted to tell you who we are. We're basically a group, Demi, Peláez. Demi, you want to say hi?
Hi guys.
Jamie and me, Yenisbel, we offer free weekly meetings to people to help them pass this, the test and help them break down the task list. And we're also offering personalized tutoring sessions. And you can schedule one of those by going to our website at www.abaexamacademy.com. But now let's get back to the meeting. Guys, congratulations!
Woo!
Yay!
Still have no idea what I'm doing yet, but yay!
What I'm doing today is, I was telling before I started recording, I'm pumped up, man. I am pumped. I'm like a cheerleader that I never became. I am so excited because you guys have been with us for a long time, and we've been enjoying your company and your answers and your comments, and we're gonna miss you, but we're so proud of you both, and we're so happy that you graduated. So I want you to officially introduce yourself with your new credentials and be very proud of it. Ready, set, go, Vanessa.
Vanessa Garcia, MA, BCBA.
Yay! Woo-hoo!
Go, Martin.
Well, I have a long story. I started, I'm a BCABA now, but originally I was a medical doctor from Afghanistan. I came here, emigrated in 2006.
Wow.
And then started, a friend of mine actually talked about this field. So he introduced me to this field in 2015.
Wow.
So since 2015, I'm in this field. And
congratulations, Martin.
Thank you. So finally made it.
That's very impressive.
You did it. Woo!
You both have a vast of knowledge, and that's why we wanted to interview you guys today, because I want us, the rest of us, to take advantage of all your knowledge, so you can give us tips on what has worked in the past and what's working, what worked for you to take the test. And we're so very proud of you. So let's get started. Started. So the first question is, how many times do you take the test? And this one, it all varies. So that's why I like to ask the question. Vanessa, how many times do you take the test?
3.
This is your 3rd time. And I'm glad this is one of my favorite interviews, because we want to know what worked this time around and what you did differently. So I appreciate you telling us. So how long did you study for, do you think?
So honestly, last December, I scheduled the first exam for February. And I'm just a procrastinator. Mind you, it had been 3 years exactly since I had graduated. So it was teaching myself all over again. And I found it very overwhelming, especially with a new baby also. Mm-hmm. So honestly, if it hadn't have been for my study buddy kind of pushing me, I probably wouldn't have even gotten I think I might have studied maybe 2 weeks. Honestly, the first go around didn't work, but since I had it scheduled, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go see. Yeah. Because I had been so nervous about it. Everybody had said so many things about this test. I was like, let me just go check it out. So honestly, I went in there with maybe like 2 weeks worth of studying. And I walked out and I was like, that wasn't that bad. I was like, as long as I study, I think I'll be fine. And I ended up getting a 350. And then I was really, really lucky that somebody that was already with ABA Exam Academy was like, you should join. And so she talked to Damie, and Damie let me in, and I was really excited. And honestly, if it wasn't for this, I would have never, I don't know where I'd be right now, because it helped. ABA Exam Academy gave me a structure. You know, you guys, we're really lucky that y'all were doing Zooms like 6 out of 7 days out of the week. And so there was this structure to my day that wasn't structured because I'm a stay-at-home mom. So that was amazing. It put a structure in place to me. I felt accountable to others on a daily basis. And then I started to have like a recap, and other people teach and review the same information that I had gone over during that. That was super helpful to me. So the second time I went to take the exam, I was super excited. I was super, super pumped because I had studied, I had done all these things. I was in the Zooms, all of that. Unfortunately, my body did not process that excitement as something positive. It processed it as like anxiety and freaked me out. So 36 questions into the exam, I had to take a break because I was so nervous, and I had already flagged probably 36 questions. I was able to calm down and go through the rest of the exam, but unfortunately, same thing as the first time, I ended up with only 1 minute left. And my biggest mistake, and I will tell you guys this when you're nervous, my biggest mistake was I flagged questions and I accidentally didn't answer the questions that I flagged. So I ended up with 50, I think it was like 58 seconds left at the end of the exam. And it took me to the review page, which you don't get to see until the end of the exam. And that's where I stumbled. I saw, I think it shows you 25 questions at a time. So I saw the ones that were flagged, and I saw 3 unanswered questions. And that's when I freaked out. So I went into the first one, I was able to answer it, and I hit next, which took me to the next numerical question, not the next flagged or the next unanswered question. So unfortunately, I stumbled through the pages trying to get back to that main review page. And when I went into the second question, I timed out. So
I'm glad you said those things, because those are the things that we wanna focus on in more detail later on in the interview. But basically, you cover knowledge and you cover testing conditions, right?
Absolutely.
We need to desensitize ourselves.
Yes.
And the third one, the third one you passed. So we are here. So that's awesome. So you said that you have been with ABA Exam Academy. Can you give us like a rough idea how long you've been with us?
I want to say since maybe April or May. No, maybe May.
That sounds right. That sounds right.
It was about 3 months before the August exam.
Since
so
May.
I want to say May. Yeah.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you, Vanessa. We're going to ask you more questions, but I wanted to break it down in sort of in order so we can get a little bit of Vanessa and a little bit of Martin, and we can mix it up. Okay, Martin. So basically the same questions for you as well.
The answers are pretty much the same too. I'm just joking. Yeah, I took it pretty much same. I took it 3 times. The first time I went, I just did it as like a mock. I didn't study that much. So, and the second time I went there, I thought I did very good, but I flagged probably 25 questions. And out of that one, I did some changes out of those 25 that I flagged. But I was not sure about it that I passed or didn't pass. The second time, like every other one that is taking the test, they're not sure.
Yeah.
But for the third time when I went there, I was like 90% sure that I did this, I passed. So, because most of the questions that I was reading, when I went to the, like 5 questions were left, and I was thinking to myself that I'm not going to fail because so far I knew all the questions. So even if I make these 5 questions, that if I miss these 5 questions, I don't care. But I was, up to that point, I was thinking that, okay, I know pretty much all of these until now.
But that's great. I like the way you summarized it. but you can say that overall you study for how long? For maybe the last time you study for?
I studied 3 hours in the morning, and I attended all the Zooms that ABA Exam Academy has started. I'm one of the members from the beginning. I'm one of the ones that started when Dimi started it and sent that created that group. I was from the beginning here. So at 3 hours in the morning, 2 hours at night. That's what I did. What else really helped me? Probably gonna ask me, I think, this one later, but the Zooms. And in addition to the Zoom, I was doing 1 hour one-on-one with my friend Rita every night, or sometimes in the morning when we were available. Just going over the task list from from the start to the end. A couple of times we did it.
Yeah, well, this is all great. Thank you so much, and it's very specific. So I like the specific recommendations that you gave. Yes.
Jenny, for number 4, he said from the beginning, so you can put January.
Okay. 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 Yeah, that's right. So it's here. All right. So the next section of the interview is Demi and I, we were talking, and we, for a while now, we've been thinking like, we need more than just the knowledge of the task list, the concepts. So I try to organize it this way. We need 3 main things. And you guys tell me if you agree or disagree. And then I'm gonna ask you about what you did to cover these 3 areas. First of all, we need the knowledge, which is we need to be able to apply the task list concepts in everyday scenarios. And that means obviously we need to memorize it, we need to be fluent, blah, blah. Then we need test taking skills. So we need to be able to apply that task list concepts in everyday scenario, but now in a written test question format, multiple choice. And then the last part of it that we also need to focus on is on the sensitization, which again, we need to be able to apply the knowledge in everyday scenarios from the task list in question format, which is the second one, and now the third one with the testing conditions at the testing center. And as you can see, it's like you build on it. And already you guys mentioned a little bit of everything, but I want to focus specifically. Just give me your top 3. For example, Vanessa, what did you do? The top 3 resources you used to study to gain knowledge. I think you mentioned something about reading Cooper, right, with your study partner?
Absolutely. When I was studying for the second exam, maybe about 3 weeks before the exam, I just was like overwhelmed. So I said, I'm gonna start from the beginning. And I know it sounded crazy, but
the task list, or the beginning of the task list, or Cooper,
chapter 1.
Okay.
It was too much information. I felt like I couldn't organize it even with the task list. I was like, you know what? I know this is crazy, but that's what I'm going to do. And that changed the game for me. And so then, I ended up missing it by 3 points. So of course I had to take it a 3rd time. And so we just continued reading Cooper again from start to finish. And we would take turns reading out loud. And
I was going to mention that you said that, right? So
just confirming with each other, did that make sense? And when we would talk about it, if we needed to refer to another resource, just to kind of like maybe get some additional information for it to click, we would do that. But every single time, there's a dry erase board behind me. I don't know if you can see it, but we drew everything out. That's how we started to learn. We started to draw things out and make our own visuals. And that was just
awesome.
I applied with ABA Exam Academy.
Oh, perfect. And you also participated in the ABA Exam Academy.
Yep. I was super lucky with that. The first time around, I know this sounds it probably will sound crazy to other people, but I had the Pass the Big and I had the BAS study guide. And it's hard to admit, but I have a difficult time focusing when I'm reading. So what I did to just start getting that knowledge, that information back in my mind, back in my head, I literally started typing it out on Word, the BAS, and I combined the BAS study guide and information from Past the Big. So I made myself this like super study guide that I was able to edit. And as I typed, I knew I was reading it. I don't know, it helped me. I know it sounds like a lot, but it was really good for me.
Oh yeah, it's not just reading it, it's you're using your hands, you're using a lot to
Absolutely.
help.
And since I'm a perfectionist, the more I went in there to like fix the font or fix the whatever, the way I organized it, the more I learned. And in addition to that, after the Zooms, I would review, my information, and then I would work on my PowerPoints at night.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. And so the reason why this one worked was because you would go over it again. That's what we said.
Yes.
And the reason why ABA Exam Academy worked, what was it? The Zooms?
The Zooms was, definitely the accountability, and then hearing different people explain the concepts in their way. Like, you don't, I have one of the individuals in the group. We had same professor, and to me, she was amazing. I understood the way she taught, and with my partner, it didn't work for her. So with ABA Exam Academy, there were different presenters, and so different people clicked. Different people, for me, it made sense, and I was like, yes. And so that was super helpful to have different individuals present the information in their way.
Yeah, that's why I personally I write the information down, but then I like the participants to explain it, because they always give a little bit different examples and a little bit different intonation that helps the other people. Like,
yes, I like especially the way you organized information was so different, and I was like, yes, that's awesome. Like, I loved it. And honestly, I don't think it should be overlooked, the fact that it was such a judgment, it still is. It's such a peaceful, judgment-free zone. Like, you can say things out loud and you might be wrong, and that's okay. You know what I mean? And somebody else would back you up and say, oh, you're almost there, or something like that. It was just this space where you could learn freely and without judgment.
wow, that's a nice compliment. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And that's why I like to ask why in a specific that resources helped you, because now we know more in depth why Cooper helped you and what you did differently. That sometimes for me at the beginning, I would read Cooper and I would literally fall asleep. But maybe if I had done something like you did, do it with a partner and say it out loud, then it helps. And that's why ABA Exam Academy, the Zooms also work, because we already did the research in the morning, but then we get to talk about it, and we just, we get alert and learn from other people.
Well, and I was talking to my study buddy, they put it in that order for a reason. So reading it in that order, there's something to it,
Yeah, we just need to, we need to study it. We just need to find a way that helps us, that we can actually get through it. Okay, so Martin, how about you? 3 top things that you.
Well, I'm on the opposite end with Vanessa, because to me, reading Cooper was climbing Kilimanjaro.
Mm-hmm.
So it was not that what I did. Obviously, I did the FIT manuals this last time, because I had 6 manuals from FIT. I went from the beginning till the end. I just read all of those once, and then once I finished that one, I created some short notes for me in my notebook. And then in addition to that one, I did Pass the Big 3 times or 2 times. I think 2 times I did Pass the Big. And another thing was, obviously, the ABA Exam Academy, which I was part of it from the beginning. I was doing those every night. And also, the last time what it helped me was explaining it to other participants. Really helped me, because when I was listening in the past, I was very passive, and that didn't help. but when I was explaining it to others,
Mm-hmm.
it was just like injecting it into my brain. I was just like getting everything. I was not forgetting it. So that really, really helped me out to explain it to the other participants and the Zooms that we were doing.
I love that you mentioned that, because that's what we push people to do.
Yeah. So
When
if you don't get out of your comfort zone,
Mm-hmm.
then you're always going to be passive, and then it's not going to help you. So I'd recommend participate, and talk. Talk with somebody that knows ABA. Talk with them,
Absolutely.
and then you can, I mean, encourage each other. And the last thing that I would say that helped me was the Bill's visuals.
That's a good one.
That really helped me out. Although I'm not saying that which of these materials or resources is good or bad, but what helped me was Bill's visuals. That I promised to myself that if I pass, I'm going to send an email to the Bill's whoever created those questions and the mocks I'm talking about. And
So you're talking about the mocks and the visuals?
yes, so I haven't done send him an email yet, but I'm going to send him an email because I promised to myself that I'm going to send him an email and thank him for that.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the visuals are good. It gives you another way to learn it, like we were talking about, different ways to. Okay.
And also find a study partner that you think that you can explain that to each other. I think that's going to help as well.
Absolutely.
I see a lot of patterns here. You all used ABA Exam Academy, and you all said the same information. We need to be actively explaining, actively talking to other people. Also find a study buddy. Vanessa had one really good, and Martin also had one. And I think you both mentioned that you were, at the end, you were very consistent with meeting with your groups.
Every day.
With your study partners, right? And you were also very consistent with going to ABA Exam Academy meetings. So it's good. Okay, the other part would be test-taking skills. Basically, what did you do? Which mocks did you use? How did you, what strategies or what resources? Anything like that. Go ahead, Vanessa.
Y'all are, you already know. So everybody else is going to be like, are you serious? So again, I'm a stay-at-home mom, so everything was kind of conservative. The only thing I purchased was Pass the Big, I think, and then I think that's pretty much it. So about, what was it, maybe like a week and a half before my exam was when I talked to you, Yenny, and you're like, okay, well, what mocks are you doing? And I hadn't done any. I remember I had only done, at the very beginning, I did Celia's mock, which was like super crazy. It was the very first thing I did before I even started studying. And so they suggested, well, at this point, your exam is right around the corner. Why, look at Bill's mocks and things like that. So I did that from start to finish those last few days, which was really helpful. But after that second round, when I got nervous and all that stuff happened, and I missed passing it by 3 points, which killed me. That's when I did my one-on-one session with you, Yenny. And at that point, everything was going really well. Yenny was asking me questions. I was answering really quickly. And then she suggested that she should start taking data and timing me. And as soon as she started timing me, I started getting all the answers wrong immediately. It was the craziest thing. I had no idea I had any issues with test taking. Like I didn't at all have a clue. I've always done well academically. So at that point, that's when I started switching it around. That's when we started working on the test taking skills and, doing the desensitization like you had suggested, all things that, we should know, but I wasn't putting into practice. So at that point is when I really started doing the mocks and things like that and making time for that. Oh, and ABA Wizard. I don't think we mentioned that, but I would do that in the evening if I was tired or I didn't have a lot of time. I would just, do that, or if I was waiting for an appointment or something like that as well.
Perfect. And I like that you mentioned collecting data. It's very key because even we know as therapists, that's what we need to do to change our clients' behavior, but we forget to sometimes do it for ourselves.
Ourselves, yeah.
Yeah,
I would have honestly never known. Had you not said those few words, let's take some data, I would have never known how it affected me to be timed. Really didn't.
It's a big deal. It was an aha moment. I love it. We had a blast. We were cracking out. Oh my God. Thank you, Vanessa. All of those informations were very important. And these resources are really good. Bill's Mocks and ABA Wizard, I also use them. And the tutoring with Jenny, people say it's good. I don't know her.
Hey, I asked you. I was like, is there a tip jar? Like, is there somewhere where I could put extra?
That's so funny. Okay, Martin, your turn. Go ahead.
Well, I did also pretty much same thing. I had one session with Yenny, which was very good. I did Bill's Mocks this last time.
Yeah.
And comparing to my first, I mean, probably the first, I'm not going to talk about the first one because I didn't take that as seriously, the first one.
Mm-hmm.
I was just partying most of the time with friends, the first one. But the second one, I did BAS mocks. And also I did FIT mocks. I did Pass the Big mocks.
Which one is the first one? FIT, Pass the Big?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, ABA Wizard was my go-to application while I was sitting alone, or even sometimes when I was using the bathroom. That was my go-to application instead of Facebook.
Yeah. No, but it's true. It's very. I was making lines to buy a Subway, and I was doing ABA Wizard.
Yeah.
All right.
Bill's Mocks was there too. I was doing Bill's Mocks as well.
This is a great list, and everybody can great resources. And a couple of them you both did, which is the tutoring with me, Bill's Mocks, and ABA Wizard, I think. So for collecting data, we recommend at ABA Exam Academy buying our data sheet, which makes it much easier to collect the data, and you can analyze your test-taking behavior by seeing the pattern of what is it that you're doing, what is it that you're improving, how many breaks are you taking, etc. We have about 6 minutes, and I think we're good. We're good with time. All we're missing is this little part over here, which is the testing conditions. Vanessa, I'm glad we get to ask you this question, because you said at the beginning, the second time around, you sort of freaked out. So what did you do the second time around?
The second time after we did our one-on-one, I did exactly what you said. I tried to find a spot that would mimic a test-taking, area. So I found a public library that had a quiet room, and it's kind of like, tables and whatnot. And so it was the best thing that I could find. And my partner and I went a few times, did mocks together, put the timer and whatnot on our phones, didn't speak to one another, and just did our exam as if we were, actually taking the test. And then we discussed, our results and things like that, how we felt. We documented how much time we had left, things like that. But most of the time for me, it was the library.
Wow, you're such a good student. Listen.
I did. You really shocked me. I promise. I really not one clue about it.
That is it's so funny. That's why we keep mentioning over and over again, so we don't skip that part of our preparation, and we don't want to leave it until the end.
Yeah. Oh, and you know what? When it comes to the testing conditions, I did want to mention that the second time I took it, again, I was so nervous, and there's different people in the room taking different exams. So I could hear somebody typing, I could hear all the sounds. Yeah. I was so nervous. I forgot about the noise canceling headset.
Mhm.
So that's another thing that if you've never taken the exam, you might not even realize it's there, but it is there next to you for you to use. They're kind of not that comfortable. So if you have something to kind of mimic that, I would definitely
Yes,
because
I recommend that as well.
yeah, I would have to give my ears the rest because it kind of like was a little bit uncomfortable, but you know, just thought I'd throw that one out there as well.
Perfect. How about you, Martin?
Well, if you take a couple of times, you don't need desensitization. You're already desensitized.
You were like, forget it, I'm good.
Yeah.
Do you ever timed yourself? Do you ever like when you took your mock test, do you ever like sit down for the whole 4 hours, or do you and with no breaks?
I never, no, I didn't do anything like that to sit for the whole 4 hours. I have done and take breaks and while I was doing it at home. I
Okay.
didn't do what Vanessa did. So mine was, I already knew how the environment is going to be, what's going to be. Even the second time when I took it, I had 30 minutes left.
Wow.
So, and the last time I took it, which was my third attempt, I had, I think, probably 25, 28 minutes left. And then I flagged 14, I think, the last time, but I only changed one of those. I didn't change,
That's good.
I just went over, I just, even I started from the beginning and I was just skipping through all of those. And then at the end, I had probably 3 minutes left. And then I just submitted it. I didn't
Yeah.
do
Well,
anything.
Yeah.
you were always good with your fluency since the beginning. When we collected data, when we were doing the tutoring session, your fluency was on point, and your accuracy as well.
Mhm.
So that was great. So Marti doesn't need it. That's why we need to practice to see if we need it or if we don't need it. Go ahead, Vanessa. We have 2 minutes.
That reminded me because the last one, I mean, I did show improvement. I had 8 minutes left at the end.
Wow,
I
that's
would say
impressive.
about your the data sheet that you made, that again, another thing that we figured out, you know, after taking data was that probably 98% of the time, my gut answer, my first answer, was the correct answer.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
And I'm
so glad you were able to see that.
Yep,
because
I would have not known.
That's the beauty of taking the data, because once you get to the test, the one that is in your gut, you know, okay, I already collected data. I know that was what worked for me in the past. I'm going to stick with it now when I'm actually taking the test.
Yep. So when I got down to like how Martin said, and you know, I was reviewing it, not we, I was reviewing it. I was like, no, this is what I thought the first time. I looked at them and then I was like, I'm done, submit.
Well, guys, thank you so much. We have less than a minute. I don't want it to cut out before saying goodbye. Thank you. And this is just the beginning.
Nice.
Oh, celebrate.
Thank you, guys. I'm so proud of you guys, and I love you.
Thank you,
I'm so
Jamie.
grateful, and I'm not
Thank
going
you for all
anywhere.
your help.
Come and visit us, please.
Always.
And explain the concepts like Martin says that he likes to do.
Yes.
Sounds
Good
great, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a wonderful
Bye.
night, everybody. And by the way, if anybody needs any help, please book a one-on-one tutoring session with us, ABA Exam Academy. Good night.